All right, guys. So when we left off with good old Ramona and Beezus, Ramona had stuffed her doll, Bendix, in the oven, pretending she was Gretel from Hansel and Gretel, and she'd ruined Beezus' birthday cake. And Beezus was less than happy about it. She was actually pretty darn mad. So we're going to read and find out what happens for the rest of Beezus' birthday. Beezus looked at the cake and burst into tears. If you remember what the cake looked like, with the doll sticking out. Ramona promptly began to cry too. This made Beezus even angrier. You stop crying, she ordered Ramona furiously. It was my birthday cake, and I'm the one that's supposed to be crying. Girl, said Mother in a tired voice. Ramona, you have been very naughty. You know better than to put anything into the oven. Now go to your room and stay there until I say you can come out. Sniffling, Ramona started toward the bedroom. And don't you dare put your toys on my bed, said Beezus. Mother, can you fix the cake? I'm afraid not. Mother poked at the cake with her finger. It's fallen, and anyway, it would probably taste like burnt rubber. Beezus tried to brush the tears out of her eyes. Ramona always spoils everything. Now I won't have any birthday cake, and Aunt Beatrice is coming, and it won't be like a birthday at all. I know Ramona is a problem, but we'll just have to be patient because she's little, said Mother, as she scraped the cake into the garbage can. And you will still have a cake. I'll phone your Aunt Beatrice and have her bring one from the bakery. Oh, Mother, will you? Asked Beezus. That's what I'll do, said Mother. Now run along and wash your face and you'll feel better. But as Beezus held her face cloth under the faucet, she was not sure at all she would feel better. For Ramona to spoil one birthday cake was bad enough, but two? Probably nobody else in the whole world had a little sister who had spoiled two birthday cakes on the same day. Beezus scrubbed away the tear stains, feeling more and more sorry for herself for having such a little sister. If Ramona were only bigger, things might be different. But since she was so much younger, she would always be, well, a pest. Then the terrible thought came to Beezus again. The thought she had had the time Ramona bit into all the apples, and the time she shoved the dog into the bathroom. She tried not to think the thought, but she couldn't help it. There were times when she did not love Ramona, and this was one of them. Everyone knew sisters were supposed to love each other. Look how much Mother and Aunt Beatrice loved each other. Beezus felt gloomy indeed, and she dried her face. She was a terrible girl who did not love her little sister like a wicked sister in a fairy tale. And on her birthday, too, a day that was supposed to be happy. When Beezus went into the living room, Mother switched off the vacuum cleaner, which had been sucking up the crumbs Ramona had sprinkled on the rug. And Beatrice said she would be delighted to bring a cake. She knows a bakery that makes very special birthday cakes, she said, smiling at Beezus. You mustn't let Ramona spoil your birthday. Beezus felt a little better. She curled up on the Davenport again with 202 things to do on a rainy afternoon, and read about making Christmas tree ornaments out of cellophane straws, until she heard her aunt's car turn into the driveway. Then she flung her book aside and ran out to greet her. Happy birthday, darling, cried Aunt Beatrice, as she set the brake and opened the door of her yellow convertible. Joyfully, Beezus ran over to the car and kissed her aunt. Did you bring the cake? She asked. I certainly did, answered Aunt Beatrice. The best birthday cake I could find, and that isn't all I brought. Here, help me carry these packages while I carry the cake. We mustn't let anything happen to this cake. And the way Aunt Beatrice laughed made Beezus laugh too. Her aunt gave her 3 packages, 2 large and 1 small to carry. The little package is for Ramona, explained Aunt Beatrice, so she won't feel left out. Mother came out of the house and hugged her sister. Hello, Bee, she said. I'm so glad you could come. What would I ever do without you? It's good to see you, Dorothy, answered Aunt Beatrice. And what's an aunt for if she can't come to the rescue with a birthday cake once in a while? As Beezus watched her mother and her aunt arm in arm go into the house, she thought how different they were. Mother so tall and comfortable looking, and Aunt Beatrice so small and gay, and yet how happy they looked together. Smiling, Beezus carried the gifts into the house. Aunt Beatrice always brought such beautiful packages, wrapped in fancy paper and tied with big, fluffy bows. Aunt Beatrice handed the cake box to Mother. Be sure you put that in a safe place, she said, and laughed again. May I open the packages now? Beezus asked eagerly, although she felt it was almost too bad to untie such beautiful bows. Of course you may, answered Aunt Beatrice. Where's Ramona?" A subdued Ramona came out of the bedroom to receive her present. She tore off the wrapping, but Beezus painstakingly untied the ribbon on one of her presents, and removed the paper carefully so she wouldn't tear it. Her new book, 202 Things to Do on a Rainy Afternoon, suggested pasting pretty paper on a gallon ice cream carton to make a wastebasket. "Oh, Aunt Beatrice," exclaimed Beezus as she opened her first package. It was a real grown-up sewing box. It had 2 sizes of scissors, a fat red pincushion that looked like a tomato, an emery bag that looked like a ripe strawberry, and a tape measure that pulled out of a shiny box. When Beezus pushed the button on the box, the tape measure snapped back inside. The box also had needles, pins, and a thimble. Beezus never wore a thimble, but she thought it would be nice to have one in case she ever wanted to use one. "Oh, Aunt Beatrice," she said, "it's the most wonderful sewing box in the whole world. I'll make you 2 pot holders for Christmas." Then as Aunt Beatrice laughed, Beezus clapped her hand over her mouth. The pot holders were supposed to be a surprise. Ramona had unwrapped a little steam shovel made of red and yellow plastic, which she was now pushing happily around the rug. Breathlessly, Beezus lifted the lid off the second box. "Oh, Aunt Beatrice," she exclaimed, as she lifted out a dress that was a lovely shade of blue. "It's just the right shade of blue to match your eyes," explained Aunt Beatrice. "Is it really?" asked Beezus, delighted that her pretty young aunt liked blue eyes. She was about to tell her about being Sacagawea for the PTA when Father came home from work, and before long dinner was on the table. Mother lit the candles and turned off the dining room light. How pretty everything looked, thought Beezus. I wish we had candles on the table every night. After Father had served the chicken and mashed potato and peas, Mother had passed the hot rolls. Beezus decided the time had come to tell Aunt Beatrice about being Sacagawea. "Do you know what I did last week?" she began. "I want some jelly," said Ramona. "You mean, please pass the jelly," corrected Mother, while Beezus waited patiently. "No, what did you do last week?" asked Aunt Beatrice. "Well, last week Beatrice began again. "I like purple jelly better than red jelly," said Ramona. "Ramona, stop interrupting your sister," said Father. "Well, I do like purple jelly better than red jelly," said Ramona. "Never mind," said Mother. "Go on, Beezus." "Last week," said Beezus, looking at her aunt, who smiled as if she understood. "Excuse me, Beezus," Mother cut in. "Ramona, we do not put jelly on our mashed potatoes." "I like jelly on my mashed potatoes." Ramona stirred potato and jelly around with her fork. Beezus doesn't look very happy, does she? "Ramona, you heard your mother," said what your mother said. Father looked stern. "If I can put butter on my mashed potatoes, why can't I put jelly? I put butter and jelly on toast," said Ramona. Father couldn't help laughing. "Well, that's a hard question to answer," said Mother. "All right, we will finish the rest and find out what happens, because it's never going to just end with jelly on mashed potatoes. Something bigger is going to happen. All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow.